Hello everyone, Bridget Casey with Bridget Casey Designs here today for ScrapbookPal.com. Today we are having a look at the Spellbinders Wonderful Tulips Glimmer Hot Foil Die and Stencil set from the 4 Petal collection. We will also be using some other wonderful supplies. So here's a look at the hot foil plate, and the dies come with it. So it's not a separate purchase, it's all in one set. And then the stencil set is a separate purchase. And in here you have 6 stencils, and they do have the circles to help you line it up, which is nice. So those are what we're focusing on, as well as Pinkfresh inks in Apricot, Clementine, Persimmon, and that's from the Indian Summer. And then we have Mint, Meadow, and Emerald, and that is from Garden Stroll. And then Misty Coast from Urban Raincoat. The White Blizzard Nuvo glitter drops, some blending brushes, and some Barely Art glue. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm just giving you a second there to look at the supplies. I'm using that foil there from this pack, and it's pewter. So I'm going to go ahead. I have the plates heating up. I'm going to put down my foil pretty side down, then put my cardstock, and then I use the shim from Spellbinders. And gonna let that heat up, run it through my machine, and now we're all set. Lift that off, and beautiful. So we're all set there. I'm gonna move my machine off to the side. I got the stencil laid where it's supposed to be, and I taped it down to the paper in the back, and I'm drawing those pencil holes on because it really does help you to line them up. So we'll begin with a life-changing blending brush and some apricot ink from Pinkfresh, which again is from the Indian Summer. And I'm coming from the bottom up so that it's darker around the base, and I'm using this extra piece of cardstock to kind of be able to cover things up and to get into kind of the nooks and crannies of the stencil and put that in. Now I've put a piece of tape to hold my paper down. I'm going to line up the pencil marks, and I drew in that final one I didn't get last time. And so now I know it's lined up. I'm going to start in with my Clementine ink from the Indian Summer, and I'm getting a good base of color, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring in this piece of spare cardstock, and I'm adding extra color to where I feel there would be shadows, or it would be more dark. So that's totally up to you and whatever your heart feels when you're using these stencils. That's what's wonderful about these stencils is you can just block the color in, meaning you can just put a solid layer of color in there, or you can add extra depth and dimension by adding color in certain spots. So now we're going to move on to stencil number 3 with Persimmon, again from Indian Summer, my life-changing blending brush. And then I go awry. I have a whoopsie here. So, okay. So I'm skipping to stencil number 5, and I finally realized that stencil 4 is on a different stencil. So this one, I'm taping the stems and leaves into place, and I'm using Mint, which is from Garden Stroll, and it's light, so I'm adding a good amount. And again, I'm adding it where I think things would be darker, and I'm covering up that kind of latticed, really pretty background stencil that's included on this stencil right there that we will use later. So now moving on to stencil number 6, and I'm getting that all lined up and put into place, and we'll come on with Meadow. I love having those circles. Those circles make it super easy. I do check my image as well to make sure they're lined up, but the circles make it super easy to line these up. So Meadow is from Garden Stroll again, and again, just ink blending that on where I think it would be darker and making sure I have good coverage. And then we're going to go to stencil number, oh, nope, that was 6, sorry. We're wiping off the hot foil because, like when you heat emboss, you add ink on top. So there's 7. You see that dot in the tulip right next to my ink case that I didn't pay attention to? That's 4. Yeah, little whoops there. I end up getting green on my tulip. So we fix it. So I show you how I fix it. But this is like heat embossing, that the ink will sit on top of the hot foil. So you want to make sure to wipe it off with a rag. So we had a boo-boo. So we're going to fix the boo-boo. I could have redone it and edited it out, but I know that, you know, we all make boo-boos. So I thought I would show you how to fix said boo-boo. So this leaves a little white border. So make sure, and it only cuts really around the outside. So two of the sides don't cut. So I will trim that out with a paper trimmer, and then I'm going to have to go ahead and trim out my sentiment as well. But first we will take the guillotine trimmer and trim this down. So I've got that all set, and then it's free. It's free. So now I can go ahead and I can trim out my sentiment that I had hot foiled as well. And there we go. So that's how my card came together. My sentiment, I knew I wanted to pop these up. I knew I wanted to use that lattice Moroccan thing background there with the Misty Coast. And we're going to go here, and I'm just adding it lightly, and I'm kind of moving it a little. I'm checking it, and then I'm doing a little bit more, and I was happy. So we're going to put some foam on the back of the image, and I just happen to have this hanging around on my mat, so I used that up. And of course you can see my green dot on my arrangement, so it kind of made my sentiment go there. But that's how you can fix boo-boos like that. Or you could put enamel dots, that's originally where I was going, or a sequence over it, but this worked just as well. I didn't put any adhesive over there, just on the side, and then I'll pop it up on top, and it sits perfectly. I did stick a little dot of glue under there to make sure it stayed down nice and tight. And then it needed something, so I pulled out, I buy all the Nuvo drops. I don't use them very often. I get scared I'm going to mess up my card right at the end, so I have a little anxiety, but I was tough and I used them, and they were the perfect touch. And I'm just thwacking them so that they go down. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe. We can't wait to see you in the next video. Have a great day.